whatever, a person of religion, a person of the cloth, and do a wee thought for the evening. Very, very nice. And I think I maybe told you, when my friend who was an announcer and a great friend of Ricky Fulton's, wonderful man, omitted to see the late call and introduced directly the late night movie and said, right now it's time for your appointment with fear. And up came late call. It had a wee theme tune. Da 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 dee dee. The pianist, I don't need to frighten anybody. Well, it was pre-recorded, of course. So there you are. The Reverend David Goodchild, last call. That's it, Eddie. It was a send-up. And then he went on to do the Reverend I Am Jolly. Yes, Ricky, Billy Connolly was a good talking about when the priest would come round to the house, and Mother would put on a performance. Here's Magnus. The Reverend James Curry was a regular late call. The Reverend James Curry was another wonderful man. He was a great friend of mine and a great friend of my mother and father's. And he was in the same class at school as my uncle. And I remember at a concert, he used to MC the Scottish Fiddle Orchestra concerts. And Jimmy was there doing his stuff, and he was so popular. Everybody would talk to him during the break. The poor man, I don't think, ever got a cup of tea. Not that that would worry him. And I remember bringing him an orange juice. He said, oh, thanks. And my uncle said, I'll go and see him, see if he remembers me, you know. So my uncle was standing there, not thinking that Jimmy Curry would remember him. And Jimmy was talking to a lady, and he hadn't seen him for maybe 45 years. And then he turned to my uncle. He went, hello, Bill. How lovely to see you again. It's a wee while. So my uncle's surprise didn't quite come off. And I can remember somebody telling me, I think Jimmy was the school chaplain at, was it Crookston Castle when he was at St. James Church in Pollock. Was that right? He was the minister of St. James Pollock. And he was the chaplain to Crookston Castle. And I remember a former pupil from that school coming on and telling me on the radio that when Mr. Curry was taking assembly, it was always mobbed because it was great fun. I remember seeing the Reverend David Goodchild's first TV broadcast. Floor manager slipped in some vodka into his whiskey. He was nervous. Floor manager was David Heyman. It was the wonderful David Heyman. And if you want to hear an interview, put in Scottie McClue talks to David Heyman on your YouTube search, and you'll get it's a brilliant interview. I'm not saying that because it's me. I'm saying it because it's David Heyman. Wonderful. So there we go. Right. What's happening here? Do we need some more stuff? Let me give you a wee taste of some of the stuff I was getting today. I could not believe it. So there you are. But I'll give you a wee taster and you can see what you think. Now, this was a discussion on another. Let me see if I can get this for you. Yes, on another platform. And I'm just going to tell a little bit about it. Scotty, did you ever see the clip with Ricky Fulton and Mark McManus from Taggart? Eddie Doyle. That's what we're just talking about. When Ricky was doing his super cop, his motorcycle cop, and Mark McManus appeared. Wonderful. A star appearance by the wonderful Mark McManus. Lovely man. And used to see him at STV. And he was like, hello, hello. You see, I've just been said hello to by Taggart. It was just a wonderful thing. But there we go. Now, let's just see what's been going on here. And I'll run this past you, and you can give me your opinion. I used to think every Church of Scotland minister was the Reverend I Am Jolly growing up. Absolutely, Anthony. Well, that's because Ricky was such an outstanding actor. He got every last detail of, just a typical minister. And just the mannerisms, the voice, the chat, just wonderful. Because you had these guys, I mean, you couldn't go very far in Scotland without coming across a church, right? In those days, a Christian church And there were just so many